Hello and thank you for joining my channel. Today we have another chess classic. This one was played in 1981 between former world chess champion and chess legend Garry Kasparov, who was playing this game as white, and his opponent Ulf Andersson. The game was played in 1981 in Tilburg, and Garry Kasparov truly showcased how you should exploit your opponent's weaknesses. Every time his opponent made a weakness, he used it, and in the end he finished with a spectacular sacrifices and even better finish. So without further ado, a truly spectacular game, and we will go straight into it. Garry Kasparov opened the game with a d4. We have knight to f6 for black, c4 for Garry, and e6 played for black. White continues with knight to f3, and we are after b6 in Queen's Indian defense. Now Garry Kasparov decided to play a3. This is Petrosyan variation, and with this variation white is allowed to play his knight on c3 because the square b4 is protected with this pawn. Black continues with bishop b7. Now black's main idea is to have control of this d5 square, and after knight to c3 black is tempted and he plays a knight to e4 here, offering the trade of the knights. Now best continuation for black in this position is to actually play d5 and immediately counterattack in the center. From what I see right now, actually this variation is called Kasparov variation, probably played by him here, and also Petrosyan variation probably by this game. He played it a lot. So d5 was the way to go here as black, but of course knight to e4 was played. Black was a little bit restless. He decided to play this move, and we have a trade on the board. And after bishop to e4, Garry Kasparov played a knight to d2. He planned that after, for example, bishop b7 is played, Garry can easily push e4 and continue his game this way. But after knight to d2, his opponent actually makes a mistake, and he plays a bishop to a g6, which now leaves this diagonal opened, and now Garry can develop his white squared bishop with g3, immediately seizing the advantage of his opponent's mistake. We have knight to c6 for black, and Garry now continues with e3 to defend this pawn. We have a6 on the board. Again, black is losing a lot of time. Instead of developing, bishop e7 was a recommended move after e3. Right now Garry Kasparov again strikes with b4, doesn't allowing any advancement here on the queen side and grabbing even more space. Why not, when you are allowed, of course. We have b5 here, offering the trade. We have c takes on b5, a takes on b5, and right now Garry plays bishop to b2. Now as you can see, after b takes on b2, maybe you saw that bishop takes on b5 was hanging. Yes, indeed it was, but after knight takes on b4, you cannot take this knight, your rook is hanging, and white would be left with this weak pawn here. So Garry firstly plays bishop to b2 in order to now can safely take this pawn on b5, and we have knight to a7, black protecting this pawn here. Garry continues with h4 with the idea to continue with this pawn push and trap this bishop there. We have h6 on the board, and right now Garry plays a d5, properly seeing and temporarily sacrificing this pawn, a really crucial strategic idea, opening up this diagonal, and you now simply don't allow black to develop here because this pawn is hanging. Ulf Andersson accepts this, and he plays a takes on d5, and right now Garry develops his bishop, also aiming at this pawn here. Black decided to protect this pawn with c6, and we have a castle for Garry Kasparov. As you can see, the main point of Garry's attack is to leave this king here in the center, and you don't want to allow this king to castle safely. f6 is played for black. Black now desperately tries to protect this pawn, and then plays bishop to e7, and then finally castle, and he can be relieved. But of course Garry Kasparov doesn't allow that. He plays firstly rook to e1. Black continues bishop to e7, and only one move is needed to castle, but Garry Kasparov, again too annoying for this Ulf Andersson grandmaster, he plays queen to g4. You cannot castle right now, you have to think about your bishop, and of course if you move your bishop back, then simply your pawn will fall with the attack on this rook, and the only way to continue this game is to forfeit your right to castle, which happened in the game with king to f7, and Garry managed to create what he wanted here by not allowing black to castle. We have h5 on the board. Again, Garry continues a great attack, very precise moves. Now attacking this bishop. Black doesn't have a breathing space at all. Bishop to h7 is played, and now e4 is played. Garry wants to open up the position with this e-file opening up. It will be really scary for Black. Black decided to take this, and after bishop takes on e4, this trade happens, and after knight takes on e4, we have a knight to c8 played for Black. Black's main idea is to put this knight here and maybe relieve the tension of the position a little bit. Garry again doesn't allow it, and he plays rook a to d1 now, blocking this and also attacking this pawn as well. Rook to a7 is what follows for Black right now, with the idea to protect this pawn. And right now we're in the critical part of the position. If you want, you can pause the video and let me know the best move that White played here. I will give you a tip. It's a sacrifice, which Garry Kasparov found, and also you can type this in the comments. If you enjoy my videos, guys, feel free to also leave a like on this video, and you can also hit the subscribe button. So, I don't know if you found it or not, but Kasparov finds the best solution here, and that is beautiful knight takes on f6 sacrifice. Now in the game, g takes on f6 is played, which is a must here. After knight takes on f6, if you take with your bishop, then Garry has this queen to g6 move, and after king goes on f8, what follows is firstly bishop takes on f6, and right now, of course, if you take with your queen, this is a huge blunder because rook to e8 is checkmate. After bishop takes on f6, if you continue with g takes on f6, then Garry Kasparov will continue with rook to e6. Right now you cannot take this rook because your queen is hanging here and this queen is pinned, and the next what follows is rook takes on f6, and you cannot protect that. You have to sacrifice your queen and it is game over. So Garry Kasparov finds this brilliant knight f6 move. We have g takes on f6, and Garry again continues with queen to g6 check. King to f8 is played, and right now bishop c1 is played for Garry Kasparov. Garry wants to aim at this pawn here, and at least he will have his material back with a huge initiative of the play, because after this move you will be forced to sacrifice your rook here, because otherwise it will be a checkmate. Black desperately tries with d5, and right now Garry finds even better move, and that is rook to d4. So actually this was a tricky move by Black. After d5, if you continue with the same idea, it doesn't have the same weight. So for example, if you continue with bishop takes on h6 now, after rook takes on h6, yes, you have this queen takes on h6 check, but after king goes on g8, right now you have rook to d4, of course, with the main idea of checkmating Black, but right now Black has a bishop to f8, attacking this queen, and after rook g4 check, rook g7, and Black is still doing worse, of course, almost 1 point, but Black managed to save himself somehow. So you definitely don't want to allow that, and after d5, that is why rook d4 is the most precise move, again threatening this rook move here, and then queen g7 check and taking this rook. Game continued with knight to d6, with the last attempt to somehow counter this attack. We have rook to g4 here, and now knight to f7 with the idea to protect this rook here. Finally, we have bishop takes on h6 check. After king goes on e8, the last move of the game was bishop to g7, and Ulf Andersson decided to resign. Now after bishop takes on h6, of course, we will go back. King e8 was played, but if you decide to pick up with your rook, of course, queen g8 is checkmate. After bishop h6, if you go with your knight h6, then queen g7 check, and after king goes on e8, queen takes on h6, h8 check, king d7, and queen takes on h6, and you are simply a piece down, and it's game over for you. So after bishop takes on h6, king a8, and bishop g7, the reason why he resigned here, Black, is because after, for example, rook to g8, you have simple h6 push. This knight is pinned. What follows is h7 and promotion of queen, and the game is over. And this is how this game ended, guys, and this is all I have prepared for you today. If you enjoyed this game, please make sure to leave a comment, like, and share this video with other people who enjoy chess. As you all know, I want to make this channel a primary source of my income, and comments and engagement on videos really help me with that, because YouTube pushes my videos and it can reach more people. Of course, you can also subscribe to my channel. You can click that subscribe button and you can comment on my videos. As always, guys, feel free to let me know your questions about this game, about my analysis. Did you enjoy this game? Do you like watching Garry Kasparov's games? He's one of the most precise players in my opinion. His games are so sharp, so tactically correct, and he never misses with his moves. He's always on time, precise, and he's always on spot with his calculations. That's why I like Garry Kasparov. And yeah, guys, or anything else, feel free to let me know, of course, in the comments. Suggest me, maybe you have some other suggestions about future games, let me know about that. If you have some funny news from chess world, do let me know and share with me, and I will gladly look them up in my next videos. So thank you so much for watching one more time, and we will see each other in the next video. I wish you a pleasant night. Bye bye.